Well, hello again. Afternoon. Well, for me anyway. Oh, I have to say, this was an impulse purchase, but there's not a day gone when I've regretted buying this toaster maker that I bought on the first day. Especially in winter, it's so nice to have a hot lunch and still not have to faff around with pans and things. It has been really good. Anyway, so last episode it was the ceiling, and now it's now down to the ground again. So there's many directions I could go now. It would be great to get the paint on, but the weather is just not right. So the thing I'm going to do next is that I'd like to actually, I don't know if you way back, but all the floorboards are still loose, and that's because I didn't want to fix them down because I knew I had to get up. So things I need to do is, now I've done the sanding that I wanted to wait, I need to sort out some air vents down to the floor. I need to bring the floor up, vacuum the tons of insulation, tons of sawdust, tons of whatever, give that a good vacuum out. There is a small part where there needs to be a water pipe underneath, just for the little bit. Put that and put the floor down, and then finally screw the floor down. So that's all going to take quite a while, I would imagine, but got to start it. I had a quite slow start, so I finished the ceiling last night and quite late last night, so this morning was more tidying up and then thinking about what to do next. So I'll have lunch and then I'll crack on. So I said earlier that I'm going down the floor. Actually, I was a little bit wrong. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to sort of start at the top, work my way down, and there's one I'm going to, like I mentioned, I'm trying to avoid as much as possible holes in the roof. I'd rather, if I could, avoid holes anywhere in the hull, but I'm going to have to have some. And there is, although it's not a rule per se, it's a strong advisory in the boat safety scheme for particular levels of ventilation which you can calculate depending on the number of occupants in the space. This is for habitable areas. You don't have to do it for every single part of the boat, but I think the bedroom cabin is a habitable area. So number of people in there, and whether there's any solid fuel appliances or unvented appliances or that's it actually. Anyway, so I mean, obviously I've done the calculation, and I've included, just because in case I do use the portable diesel heater, I've included that in the amount of ventilation that I need. And you're supposed to have it divided by the upper, well, supposed to, but you again suggested that you have it between upper and lower. Most people have the mushroom vents, but I thought what I'm going to do is actually run a vent from the side here. This is outside, of course. That's when it's not tarpaulin, that's outside. And so running that through, and that will then run through, and then there'll just be a little vent in the side of the cabinet. So I'm very much crammed into the stern. This is where there's tarpaulin, but there's board underneath to keep the tarpaulin flat. So obviously I have to cut a hole in the wall. So I could go. I have to cut a hole in the wall, and I don't really want to do that because I don't like cutting holes in metal. Anyway, calculation-wise, I reckon that according to the equation, that the cabin needs 2,620 square millimetres of permanent ventilation divided by high and low. That's 1310, and that actually works out happily to be that is the, again, if I've done it's a long time since I've done mathematics, but that should work out, I think, to be a 40.84 diameter circle. And I have the cuts like butter cutter that I used on the hull, which is 40 millimeters. And in any case, what I'm going to do is, I'd rather have a bit more ventilation than not enough. So my cunning plan is to drill 2 holes, and that should fit under the louver that I've got for that. Not that I'll be putting a louver on today. That's when I can actually move a bit better. Yeah, so that's fine. So two 40mm holes next to each other, maybe slightly overlapping, and yeah. So let's fingers crossed that this works as well. Third time still lucky, as it were. It's not very easy to get to, as you can see. I've also done exactly so that I've drilled from the inside where I want the holes to be, a tiny pilot hole, so I've just got to now find and locate that. And of course, I can't see. It's either chance of blinding myself permanently with these goggles or instantly blinded by mist. It's let's have a it's come, but it's very hard to keep, to tell if the drill is straight. Of course, when it's not, then it kicks, and yes. Oh well, it is slowly but surely. One down. Finally, number 2. Actually, number 2 was slightly easier because I had to go and change batteries, and I put the big battery on, which happened to be, just by coincidence, almost the right height, so it sort of almost acted as a the drill's hilt acted as a self-standing. Anyway, still, that was in no way quite as satisfyingly quick and easy as it was doing the hole, but at least they're done. So let's have a look. Let's go and have a look from the other side. That's just about where you can see, just about where they should be, which is good. So I think what I've got to, well, I don't think, what I've got to do now, I'm going to try and clean up as much of that swarf as possible. Then I'll have to mix up a tiny batch of Yota mastic just to put around here. And I think that will be it for the day. It's about 5 o'clock now, and I don't really have the oomph to squeeze any more out of the day. So a quick PS. I was just cleaning up, and I know I shouldn't have done it, but well, not that it was naughty or anything, but I didn't need to do it. But I've got the jigsaw out just because I was cutting some wood up anyway, and I just thought at some point I can't do everything with holes, and I'm going to have to get cut larger holes out. And I've been dreading it because I'm thinking with this that it's going to be an absolute nightmare. But I just got put the metal blade in, and you can see I just trimmed off the two sort of arcs there, and it was so much. It was far easier than I thought. It just went zip. In fact, it was almost as quick as doing wood. So that's great. So I can stop worrying about the future, about when I have to do the big holes in the roof. Hopefully that will not be too arduous. So that's something. And I've got even more ventilation now. Morning. Well, sun is out, mood is up, as always. So we're finally being moved, just literally 3 foot sideways, but it'd be good to get it done, and it's not sort of hanging over my head. I've been thinking every time I've started something that any minute now they'll come knocking on the door saying we're about to move, and now they finally have. I have to confess, never having had a shed or a garage or anything like in my life, I'm quite enjoying having my little workspace, especially when I'm just doing little fiddly bits of, not fiddly, but just little bits, not having to manhandle huge sheets. The only thing is I would enjoy it a little bit more if it was a bit warm. It's currently about 4 degrees, and even with work gloves on, it's a little bit chilly, but nothing I can do about that. Tempting it is to try and bring the diesel heater around here. I think that might be a step too far. So, I haven't taken much video of, I've been cracking on, but I thought me making a selection of quite rather rough boxes isn't particularly enthralling video. So, it's going to be rather like an episode from Blue Peter, as in, here are some that I made earlier.